I'm the reporter of FinTech Futures, Alex Pugh. I'm at Money 2020 in Amsterdam, and I'm with SmartStream. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hi.
Do you want to introduce yourselves and let us know what you do at the company?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Jethro MacDonald. I'm the product manager of AI and machine learning at SmartStream. So my primary role is to look at where we can use the latest innovations and implement them in our current suite of solutions.
And I'm Andreas. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer of SmartStream. I'm responsible for any innovations in SmartStream and also lead the product center for SmartStream Air, which is our latest reconciliation solution with AI technology.
Great, nice to meet you. So SmartStream in many ways helps legacy financial institutions keep pace with a rapidly evolving financial ecosystem. What hurdles do you see on the horizon for financial institutions that SmartStream is anticipating and intends to help ease the burden with in the coming years?
Yeah, of course. So, one of the things that we're seeing at the moment is that firms are all around efficiency. If the rumours are true, we're likely to be going into a recession environment. It's more important than ever to ensure that you can save costs where possible. So one of the things that we look to do with our solutions is creative innovations around saving firms time with the manual processes that they do. For us, that comes with quickly onboarding reconciliations using AI, and then also machine learning to help with the manual matching that users do by learning from a user's behavior and proposing back matches to them based on what they previously matched.
Great. Digital payments. There's never been more money going back and forth around the world. What sort of technologies are being implemented to help manage this high volume of transactions? And do you see any gaps in the market for new technologies that are yet to come into use?
Yeah, that's a super interesting question. So we see an uptake of transactions lately in every payment industry. And basically we approach it with two key concepts, key technologies. First, of course, is cloud. Our software is cloud native, so when volumes go up, we can easily also scale up our technology, our hardware, and process those volumes in a very short time, so that's great. And the other things is we see that our clients are struggling with manpower. So if the transactions go up, it's not easy to scale up teams to process those volumes. So what we really use is machine learning technology to automate more of the processes our clients do, and that helps them to keep up with their volumes.
Yeah, there's been so many industries, there's bottlenecks with staff, so you're plugging the gaps with machine learning.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so we learn from how users run their operations, and once the machine learning model is trained, we actually can help the users. We can pre-fill transactions. We can automate workflows and so on to help them to reduce their workload.
Great. So low and no code technologies, how do they fit alongside traditional application development? If everyone's able to implement these with ease and at low cost, how does that affect the stranglehold that legacy financial institutions have, and do they have more to lose in this sort of new world?
No, I don't think they have more to lose. So one of the things that we've seen with these low-code solutions is that we're able to give the ownership back to business owners, and that's really important for these institutions, right? So if we look at a traditional model of application development, you'd have to send it off to an IT team, and they would go off and configure based on requirements defined by a business analyst. Now the users themselves are actually able to build and implement these controls using those low-code solutions. So really it gives the power back to the users themselves as opposed to another function implementing what they think is right. So if anything, it empowers these folks.
Great. New technologies. There's so many. We've got machine learning, which we mentioned before, AI, which is a big one, cloud, blockchain. Do you think fintechs are more accepting of these technologies, or do you think sometimes they get a bit ahead of themselves and bite off more than they can chew to a certain extent?
So I think fintechs typically are a good place to test those technologies. So they really are the driving factor here also, right? We see the fintechs inventing things, coming up with new technologies. But we also see that the established big banks or large corporates, they really then make use of that technologies. Either it takes them a bit longer, but then they use, for example, machine learning to innovate their own business, or they partner with a fintech, right? And we see really an uptake in established companies or banks using fintech technology, like machine learning, cloud. Cloud is fully accepted. Many of those players have a cloud-first strategy now. We haven't seen that a few years ago, so there's a lot happening.
Yeah, there's fintech's almost like the vanguard of the technologies, and then it gets adopted.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. Out of all of these new and exciting tech, which one do you think holds genuine promise, and which one do you think is overrated and overhyped? And are you aware of a technology that's going to be truly groundbreaking? Like, where would you put your money if you were in investing in something coming up?
So for us, strategically important at the moment is for sure machine learning, because SmartStream handles high volumes of data. So big data is what is our main focus. We work with big banks, and they have to store their data for several years because of regulations. We can use that data, train our machine learning algorithms, and then help them. So I think still that's the most promising solution. But there's another thing coming up very quickly. We spoke about, a cloud-first strategy for many of those companies, but now there's serverless technology, which is like the next evolution. Because in a cloud environment, what you want to avoid is when volumes are not always high, but they're sometimes high, sometimes low. You want to have your costs of your cloud environment accordingly. You don't want to have lots of hardware, and then it costs you and you're not using it, right? So serverless is exactly that, where you only pay for what you use. And this is something, again, we use in SmartStream Air to reduce for our clients their total cost of ownership and give them a perfect price for reconciliation. So that's definitely a technology to look out for.
I guess clients like only paying for what they use. It's probably
Exactly.
popular, yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
And again, with the new technologies, what advantages do banks and other legacy institutions have over fintechs, the other side of the coin? Like, is there something to be said for the old timers, or are they doomed to fail unless they become fintechs, basically?
No, I don't think they're doomed to fail. So we traditionally were a software application company, right? And we saw that we needed to look at areas where we could innovate in our product base, and that's why we created the Innovation Lab in Vienna that obviously Andreas and I work for. And with that, we look at utilising the latest technologies and putting those into our solution. So we spoke about some of that today with our machine learning that we can do for manual matches and things like that. And it's the same for investment banks, right? They know that there is a place for innovation, and they have also designated teams where they look and see where they can use that latest technology. And, get ahead in some cases of other financial institutions or fintech folks as well.
Great. That's a wrap. Thank you so much, guys. Cheers. Great to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you so much. Cheers.